everyone. I am Charlotte Lapayag, and today we will talk about 7 great theories about language learning. So, throughout history, thinkers have delved into the fundamental questions of existence, morality, knowledge, and truth. So, philosophers have dared to challenge the status, shaping the way we understand ourselves, our society, and the world around us. So, from ancient Greece to modern times, their ideas have sparked revolutions in thought and ethics and logic. So, in this report, we will embark on a journey through the minds of some of the most influential philosophers, unraveling their timeless wisdom and exploring how their philosophies continue to resonate with us today. So to make this quick, to get a quick rundown of early language learning theory, let's take a quick look at the ideas of these brilliant philosophers who you've probably already heard of. Plato's problem is a question about how humans can have such a deep understanding of the world, even though our experiences with it are limited. For example, we are able to understand complex ideas and concepts that we've never directly encountered. So, Plato proposed that the solution to this problem is that we are born with innate knowledge. In other words, we don't learn everything from scratch. Instead, we have some knowledge built into us from birth. This is why, according to Plato, we can understand things even without having direct personal experiences of them. So Plato's answer was that our knowledge comes from within, not just from the world around us. This idea fits into the broader nature versus nurture debate, where Plato sided with nature. The idea that our knowledge and abilities are part of who we are from birth. That's Plato's problem.
So, according to the philosopher named Descartes, was doing a chance to resemble challenges linguistically, he managed his well-being by simply promoting easy ways to comprehend something that is understandable that many people could process how to do linguistic right. Unlike Plato, believing the tendencies of innate languages that people who are born to speak their vernacular language is a way of easy to understand its languages, while we having a tendencies to learn second language for us to be able to comprehend something that is being shared to us, such as communicating foreign people or their foreign languages. Also, we intend to learn English as our second language for us to be able to learn different perspectives. Behind every language there is a way of understanding by communicating.
Locke's theory of language is based on his idea of tabula rasa, which means blank slate. According to Locke, when we are born, our minds are like a blank slate, without any pre-existing knowledge. All the knowledge we gain comes from our experiences, especially through our senses. What we see, hear, touch, taste, and smell. Locke rejected the idea that we are born with an innate understanding of language. Instead, he believed that we learn language by experiencing the world around us and receiving input through our senses. The more sensory input, like listening to people speak and seeing things in the world, the more knowledge we gain, including language. So Locke's view on language is that learning it comes from our exposure to the world rather than something we are born with. We build our understanding of language based on the things we experience in life.
Skinner's theory of behaviorism. In the 1950s, B.F. Skinner built on John Locke's ideas about how we learn from what we sense. According to Skinner's behaviorism, all actions are simply reactions to things happen around us, and we are not born with the ability to learn language. What makes Skinner different from earlier thinkers is how detailed he was about connecting behavior and language learning. He introduced the idea of operant conditioning, which means that we learn language through rewards and punishment. For example, if you are hungry and say, "Mommy, I'm hungry," and then get food, you are encouraged to speak that way again because you got what you wanted. Skinner provided a new way to understand how we learn language. If his ideas are correct, it means we need to be rewarded for saying the right things and need to be told when we make mistakes. This feedback helps us learn a language better.
Noam Chomsky's theory, known as universal grammar, is the idea that all humans are born with an innate ability to learn language. Chomsky believed that, unlike Skinner, who thought language learning comes from external experiences, humans have an internal or natural ability that helps us understand and acquire language. Chomsky's theory answers Plato's problem, that the question of how we can know so much despite limited experiences. So, all languages share certain basic structures, and we are born with the capacity to recognize and use these structures. This is why children can learn languages so quickly and even create sentences they've never heard before. They are tapping into this inborn ability. So Chomsky argued that the basic rules for grammar exist in our minds from birth, and all we need to do is learn the specific details of the language we are exposed to. While this theory is influential in linguistics, it doesn't offer as much help for learning a second language, since it focuses mostly on how we learn our first language.
John Schumann's acculturation model outlines how immigrants acquire a new language through full immersion in that linguistic environment. This model diverges from traditional views of language learning, which often emphasize the acquisition of grammar and listening skills. Instead, it highlights the social and psychological factors that significantly impact language learning success. For example, an immigrant is more likely to successfully learn their new language if there is a social parity between their native language and the target language. If the immigrant group is small and lacks cohesion, and if there is a notable cultural similarity between the immigrant's background and the local culture. The key insight from this model is that language acquisition is not purely theoretical endeavor to study physics, which can be learned in isolation from one's surroundings. Sociocultural elements play a crucial role in the more individuals engage with the culture associated with their second language, the more swiftly and effectively they will learn that language.
Stephen Krashen's monitor model is a popular theory about how we learn a second language. So, like for example, language acquisition versus language learning. Krashen says that acquisition is subconscious. When we learn language naturally by using it in real conversations, so learning, on the other hand, is more conscious and happens through formal lessons where errors are corrected. So the role of comprehensible input for language to be acquired, it needs to be comprehensible, meaning it should be just a little bit above our current level. So this way, we can understand it, but it also challenges us to learn new things. Krashen believes that grammar is learned in a specific order, and it's predictable across all learners. This means we naturally pick up certain grammar rules before others. So the monitor is our ability to consciously correct ourselves when speaking or writing. If someone corrects us, we use that feedback to adjust our language. But if you focus too much on this correction, it can slow down communication. So Krashen's theory is widely accepted and useful for understanding how languages are learned, but it has also been criticized, especially his idea about the order in which we acquire grammar. Even so, It provides helpful guidance for language learners, especially in creating natural and meaningful learning experiences. Philosophy of education is a field that looks at the big questions about how and why we educate people. It examines topics like the goals of education, like what we hope to achieve through learning, the methods used to teach, and the meaning behind those education. This area of study also looks at how education fits into larger social, cultural, and philosophical contexts. So, as we've explored today, the journey of learning a new language isn't just about memorizing words. It's about understanding the mind, the context, and the culture behind those words. Whether it's through behaviorism, cognitivism, or social interactionist theories, each theory offers us a unique lens to see how language is acquired and mastered. Now, it's up to us to combine the best of these theories and keep pushing the boundaries of how we learn and teach language. The more we understand, the more powerful our ability to communicate becomes. So, let's continue to explore, innovate, and unlock the potential of every learner. And that's all. Thank you.